ladies and gentlemen. Most of you know me, but for those of you who don't, my name is Danda. I am a member of the O'Sullivan team. I would like to introduce you to my teammates, Linda Barber, Bobby Losi, Tommy Cambig, and Chris Fallon. We selected our project, a one-stop shop for jobs for youth. It was suggested that during this presentation we use props, movement, and to make our presentation fun. Well, the props we have. As to movement, as you can see, one of our members, Linda, isn't able to move around real well at all. So we opted to use a discussion format for this presentation. We also chose not to present our project in too humorous of a way, as there is nothing humorous about barriers to our youth when seeking employment or training. Imagine this. You're a young person somewhere between the ages of 14 and 22 years of age. Let's say, 17. You have dropped out of school and had been a member of a gang and have various tattoos on your hands and neck. You have chosen to leave gang life and get a job or training and move on with your life. Where do you go? Well, you might first try the Training and Employment Center, more commonly known as TEC. There you will find several forms that you'll have to fill out, and then find out that the services are geared for adults, not for kids. They might refer you to the Jamming Company. Again, you'll fill out forms, and again you find out that you don't meet the criteria. You are referred to several other agencies. More paper, more referrals. It seems like a never-ending circle. Frustration mounts. What do? You try approaching employers on your own and still can't get hired. You might not realize the barrier your tattoos present. No one has referred you to the tattoo removal program because they may not be aware it exists. This story may sound extreme, but in some cases it does happen. Our youth need an effective system to guide them to jobs, school, or training. It needs to be inclusive of all youth seeking employment. In our minds, the best way to achieve this is to centralize the employment services specifically for youth. Adult services don't work for kids. Presently there exists a wide array of services, but the communication and referral system is fragmented. There are many employment opportunities and agencies that can assist youth with employment needs, but there is no one location where a youth can go to get information they desperately need to fit their unique needs. Enter Donna DeWeerd at the Tech Center and Leadership Napa Valley Class 11, specifically the O'Sullivan team, that took on the project to start one-stop shop centers for youth.
Jan, stand up for me.
Meet our mentor, Jan O'Sullivan.
My name's Chris Fallon, and I'm here to talk about the beginnings of our project. Everybody remembers when we were all together in the room at the county education office and we looked through the proposals for all the different projects. We were also taking a leadership style analysis, which we've all come to wonder about, how Jill put us on these teams. And we'll find out. Because we feel that we all have a lot of the same strengths, and we wonder if you did that on purpose. But that day we were given 4 projects to review. We were given one from Napa Valley College about current recruitment procedures, one about putting together a directory of voluntary resources, the one-stop shop idea. We also looked into a proposal to bring an environmental science lab to Vintage High School, get the water and electricity turned on. And in talking to the community and in Health and Human Services Day, we also considered possibly setting up a detox center because we found that there was a need for one in the community. On October 3rd, we met our project mentor for the first time. Hi, Jen. She gave us the basics: regular meeting times, write thank you notes, If you can't attend, let somebody know, if you can't be at the meeting. And take notes. We've been taking notes on this project since we started. Actually, Linda has. Linda is our scribe. So all that you see in written form here, Linda created. At that time, we decided on a name for our group, the O'Sullivans, which Jan protested, but
Vehemently.
we decided to go forward with it anyway. To this day, we all identify this first meeting as the catalyst that coalesced 5 strangers, independent thinkers and leaders, into a team. We decided to meet, and we have decided to meet this way every week since then. We meet, our first meeting was at 6 a.m., and we decided to meet Wednesday mornings at 6 a.m. at Marie Callender's. Well, Marie Callender's isn't open at 6 a.m. So we all met there anyway and decided to go to Lions. It was Tom's suggestion, and now every Wednesday morning we meet at Lions. At 7 a.m., yes. We decided to, Dr. Losi liked the idea of the one-stop shop initially, or Bobby Losi as we like to call him. And so Dr. Losi decided we should meet with Donna DeWeerd, who was the person who proposed this to us, who entered the proposal to Jill. And so Dr. Losi met with Donna DeWeerd and got some information and came back to the group and said, there's some meat in this project. This is something that we could all get involved in. And so at that time we decided that that would be the project that we would get involved with. We still needed a lot of information, so we met with Donna again at Tech and involved Chuck Gravitt at the time, and I can't remember who else was there. We were out at Ridgeview High that day. Yeah, the PIC board was there, Private Industry Council. And it started to coalesce, and we started to get a feel for how big this project was. And we're going to talk about that later, how it's a lot bigger than we thought it was initially. It's kind of grown on us. So what we decided to do was we had a list of youth service providers in the Valley, and we split it up amongst the 5 of us. We each had 9 agencies to interview. We developed a questionnaire and we sent it out to the 9 agencies, and we put together a spreadsheet or a database of all the information that we found out. And sure enough, there are a lot of community providers out there, but a lot of them don't work with one another. And as Danda was saying, you have to go to, if you're a kid, you have to go to each and every provider to find out what's going on. There's no one central place. So that's how we figured out what we wanted to do. We wanted to create that one-stop shop, that one place for people to go, young people to get a job.
My turn. Well, after having all of these meetings, I still didn't get exactly what, and I kept asking the question, what are we doing? I can't believe that this hasn't been done. Of course, one stop, sounds easy in a way, but we're talking about Calistoga, St. Helena, Napa, American Canyon, and how to integrate all of this, and I was still not getting it. I know this is an old joke, but one good thing about having Alzheimer's is you can hide your own Easter eggs. And I was accused of being a little slow. And they kept saying, well, why don't you get it? And, but there is something that I want to share with you at the end of my little spiel, that I think if we can integrate something, that I think I'll get it. Anyway, we sent out an invitation to have a meeting on a Friday afternoon from 2 to 5. And I think we came up with that time because that was about the only time all of us could do it. And then we looked at where to have it, and of course, I didn't get it because I kept saying, no, I don't think we should have it there, we should have it there. But anyway, we had it there. And, so what was unbelievable, though, seriously, was that I don't know, about 25 people showed up from across the valley. People, heads of programs for youth, and I was really kind of amazed. And the other thing that was interesting is that I think I volunteered to facilitate, didn't I? I can't remember.
I think you volunteered too.
Anyway, Jill was at this meeting, and there was no need for a facilitator. I mean, it was the most incredible meeting that I think I've ever been to, because I'm used to sitting around hospital boardrooms and everybody being a little intimidated or whatever. But people jumped into this meeting, and I think that was the thing that really sort of concretized the thing that, you know, this really didn't exist in Napa Valley, where, you know, people are integrating all of the job opportunities that there are. So anyway, we sat there and people just talked and talked and talked, and the interchange was really quite amazing. Linda typed up some great letters for us and got the information back out to other people across the valley. We kept meeting at 7 a.m. I came in singing something like Up in the Morning. But anyway, we had another meeting a month later, and not as many people attended, but we divided people. You know, when you don't know what else to do, you get into committees, so we got into committees. But during these 7 o'clock meetings, I mean, we thought we were inventing something special for Napa. And indeed we were, but we didn't know that there are 3 volumes already available that have creating workforce development systems at work, organizing and governing one-stop systems. Now Dana, or not Dana, but Donna at Tech could have these all the time, but we did have a lot of fun at 7 a.m. creating this phenomenal program. And indeed, we have created something that isn't in this book. I mean, we have. If we do this as a community, it's not in the book. So it's, I think Donna had some special thing that she wanted us to be created in the community. So the second meeting, we broke up into committees, one that's going to try to decide what kind of governance this program's going to have, whether it's going to be owned by the community or under the umbrella of some other agency, how big the board will be, et cetera, et cetera. We have another program that will be, or committee that will be looking at the electronic part of it, so that people all up and down the valley can be on the same site and get the same information. And we hope to involve some of the schools with this, and the college was very gracious to offer a lot of their services. We had another service committee that will be looking into that, and Tom is the marketing director, because the importance of this when this gets put together is going to be the marketing aspect. So anyway, we have created these committees, and we have many people from the community that will be on these committees and serve on this committee. We kind of got pretty caught up in this, and again, looking at stuff from PIC and Tech and SPR and so on, I was still saying, in a sense, that there's something missing. So what I'd like to do is to read something by James Hillman from A Blue Fire, it's called, and it's about work. And I think this is what was missing for me. We memorialize work and make it a problem, forgetting that hands love to work and that in the hands is the mind. That work ethic idea does more to impede working. It makes it a duty instead of a pleasure. We need to talk of the work instinct, not the work ethic. And instead of putting work with the superego, we need to imagine it as an id activity, like a fermentation, something going on instinctively, autonomously, like beer works, like bread works. I have a fantasy, for example, that I have a farm, and it doesn't matter whether I'm correcting proofs or writing footnotes or reading some tiresome paper or editing somebody else's work. Whatever I'm doing, it's like a farm. And I have to feed the chickens and hoe the potatoes and chop the wood and do the accounts and pull the weeds. And every one of those jobs is necessary, and none is more important than the other one. So the new white page, the important new thought you are developing, is not more important than the many little things that happen to be in your way or along your way. But they also happen to be the way itself. I don't have a monocentric image of work as if each person had one special task. If I ask myself, what's your task in life, I'm going to get a single answer. Questions like this come out of the ego, so they only can have one answer or a choice among single answers. Ego questions are setups. You can never answer them psychologically with polytheistic answer. So there isn't just one special task like a calling vocation. Vocation is a very inflating spiritual idea, one-to-one, God to me. Notice our idea of Renaissance man is a polytheistic fantasy. He does all kinds of things, but vocation addresses the ego and makes it a specialist. Then you believe in yourself, and that's another trap of that devil, belief. Because who is believing in whom? I am believing in myself, all ego, and then I have a mission. Now that fantasy of the farm is polytheistic, and who is to say what is the important thing on the farm? The man who buys eggs from me would like more eggs and sees the time I spend chopping wood a waste. Have a secretary do it. You have the best eggs around. Produce more and even better ones. Specialization. The best egg man around. And that's monotheism and mission and early death. Not just the right to work, or work as an economic necessity or a social duty or a moral penance laid on to Adam after leaving paradise. The hands themselves want to do things, and the mind loves to apply itself. Work is irreducible. We don't work for food gathering or tribal power and conquest or to buy a new car and so on and so forth. Working is its own end and brings its own joy. But one has to have a fantasy so that work can go on, and the fantasies we now have about it, economic and sociological, keep it from going on. So we have a huge problem with productivity and quality in our Western work. We've got work where we don't want it. We don't want to work. It's not like wanting to eat or to make love. It's an instinctual laming. And this is psychology's fault. It doesn't attend to the work instinct. So that was what was missing for me, reading about work, and I hope if our project really continues to move on, or actually part of what we're trying to do today too is to recruit people who might be interested in working with our project, that we have this work instinct instead of work ethic. So now it's somebody else's turn.
The part I got was what did we learn? People say that the Napa Valley is a special place. And True Wine has given us, the people, the notoriety and everything it is, but it's truly the people in Napa Valley, I think, that make it what it is. And then there's a willingness, the things that we found out, there's a willingness on the part of others to help when a concept or an opportunity touches their passion. And I think that's one thing, passion is a key word there. People do get passionate. Identifying resources and obtaining dollars is a grueling and competitive business, which leads to kind of the next finding we had. In any market, there are issues of turf building, turf protecting, that which need to be addressed throughout. It takes a lot of work to put a project like this one together. Time, thinking, follow-up, and communication. There's a type of synergy that happens within the group when people work together to create a vision or product that provides a service for others. The buy-in of critical mass of individuals is needed to support the evolution of a project of this size and scope. A clear division of labor occurred among our project group members based on personal, self-identified strengths, and created an operational system that moved all of us forward toward the goal of developing the one-stop shop. This is where you can see the rorting of somebody else, but the vision can emerge from the fog of multiple perspectives through the coalescence of need, interest, information, opportunity, and collaboration. That's truly where we all came through. Listening, asking, probing questions, negotiation, balanced compromise, and dedication. A roll up your sleeves and get to work mentality provided the impetus of getting our project to its current state of development. Teamwork is strengthened by meeting on a consistent basis. We did learn that. It provides opportunities to celebrate what is going well, to review, to rethink, and to refine steps in the process of creation, and to reaffirm the commitment to a central purpose. Besides that, it was a lot of fun. The shared responsibility enhanced the flexibility of the group as a whole. We could still get things done even if one or two members weren't available to participate on a specific movement or moment. We have all been challenged to think out of the box that we've created for ourselves. There's no existing system within the Valley. The university addresses the provision of a one-stop job information center, training and planned opportunities for the in and out of school 14 to 22-year-old. So anyway, going back to a couple of what we learned, the regular meetings, when our mentor sat us down and told us we must meet regularly, set the 3 dates, respect others' opinions, and not talk over one another. This was not a group to be dictated to. Jan probably unknowingly did more to coalesce us than any group, quicker than she knew. And I'm not sure that the group appreciated Jan until Tourist Day when she joined us for lunch at the Napa Valley Grill. And I guess we all got to know Jan and she got to know us. And Jill, we learned that you have 5 people in the class that probably won't be mentors next year. Definitely not good ones. As far as thinking out of the box, you've got 5 people here who probably belong in a box, or people close to us wish we could be put in a box. As to evaluations, which to a degree is what we're talking about today, Jill, or what tonight is all about, you did succeed with this group. I think your stated goal originally was to not to graduate from Leadership Napa Valley, but to graduate into Leadership Napa Valley. As has been discussed, we'll all follow this project and see it to a successful start up and run. That's all 5 of us. We do have an interim administrator that is willing to start her efforts this morning, and hopefully we'll start getting paid July 1st. We see her working through June, July, and August, and transitioning in September to a full-time person starting September, October. Obviously, funding is key, and Donna DeWeerd, I think, is the secret to that. As Donna told us, put a good project together and money will come. God, I hope she's right. And this is probably a good time to say our thanks to Donna. And while she was being the project sponsor and had more to gain than in passing interest to our success, she has provided us with her own time, her thoughts, and responsibilities, resources, like the book, even if it was late. Jill, you provide us a group, a great opportunity, a chance to work together. We ask each other on more than one occasion, how did we get together? How were we picked? From our mentor meeting, we related that there was not a follower, a submissive personality in this group. I remember Jan saying to me that we may have a tough time if we don't pull it together. 1st of January, we saw May is only 5 months away, and that's truthfully when we started the meeting. Jan was very effective and did accomplish her goal. She brought us together. As of the team, Chris, because of her schedule, heck, she'd been at work for an hour most Wednesday mornings when we got together. But definitely a person with a can-do attitude. Dan, again, being able to sort through all the paperwork that we got, being able to answer questionnaires, put them together, make sense out of them, that's got to come from the work you do with people that give you half information and expect full answers. Linda was pure luck to the rest of us. I mean, there was a person who could write, could sit through our circuitous conversation and make sense of them. Better than that, you could put them in writing, and we will leave a copy of the few pages that we're talking about here. Our project summary and the summary of what we've learned was written not by a committee, but it was written by one person. And I think that's a real tribute, because so often when you try and sit down and write something by committee, it sounds like it. In this case, Linda was able to synthesize what we were talking about and what we've done. So, and then the interesting part is Bob and I, Bob did serve as a diagnostician, like a doctor brought in for a second opinion. The concept was so simple, why wasn't somebody doing it? But there we have it. For me, it was a great opportunity to work for this group, and it really has been good. It's great fortune. Thanks a lot, Joe.
all the writing parts, and because I can't think when my foot's hurt, I only have one thing left to say, and that's our vision. The vision of this is that we will bring all agencies working with 14 to 22-year-olds together to collaborate and communicate, to develop a delivery system that provides job information, training, and placement opportunities that enhance all of us because it's a valley-wide effort, it's a valley-wide workforce, and it contributes to all of us because it contributes to our continued economic growth. It was really hard because there's so much overlap in all the agencies. I mean, there's incredible duplication, and I think that's what we had the hardest time sorting through. So, I'm almost tall enough to do this. But the whole idea of the One Stop is that all the agencies get together in partnership. And that's what makes it so hard, because there is turf building and turf protecting, and people don't like it when people step on their toes. So we're hoping that all these people can come together to bring youth consumers in that will end up, through their multiple efforts, being clean, trained, job ready, and independent.